Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good. Fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts. I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong. I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth. Can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have it douse, not what I'm about. Have your f***ing cloud, it be raining now. I keep making sound, go another round. I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me. A slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
Well, all right. What a great day this is. Gonzo's team is winning. Who would have ever thought that? Logan's out there like me in so-so land. Neither one of our teams are excelling, but we're not defeated yet. But, man, hey, what a time to be alive. Hey, this is Unscripted. It is episode 328. That is Chris Gonzo Gonzalez to my left, and that is Logan Babyface Landers down beneath me where he freaking belongs.
Hey.
Damn.
I gotta say.
What'd you do to Jay, Logan?
I don't know, Chris. I don't know. Maybe Jay's in a bad mood after Raw last night. I know I am.
Man, no, Jay ran out of Skittles, and like Marshawn Lynch, I'm pissed.
Looks like you have a whole bag of Skittles there.
No. He's only got half a bag. That's the thing with Jay. He can only have a whole bag. You can't have half. He gets half, he gets upset.
Hey, it was a whole bag. It's look at me, man. I'm Logan.
See?
The controls,
It's
man.
that sugar rush, Chris. It's getting to him already.
It is. No, but hey, Gonzo, man, how you doing, brother?
Not doing bad. Just sitting here watching the Reds and the Cubs. Game just started.
Hell to the hell yeah. Are y'all winning or losing? I have not looked.
It's tied 1-1. It's tied 1-1.
Okay. Yeah, my game doesn't start till 8. Logan, I don't know if y'all have y'all played yet?
No, we face off against St. Louis about 7:45-ish.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and then we'll come on with Detroit in about 20 minutes after your game. Logan, what's up, baby?
Hey, what's up, man? Doing good. Happy to be back and ready for another good show.
Absolutely. Before we get started, let me remind everybody to check us out on Twitter at Unscripted Guys, all one word. TikTok, Unscripted Sports, all one word, for any latest updated information. Also, check out the ASAP Network app, now on Google Play, Amazon, Roku, and now on Apple. So make sure you download that app and catch all of our content on the ASAP Network. That's how you have to put it in, ASAP Network. It'll pull it up for you. Also, check us out. We're now affiliated, or ASAP is affiliated with Bet US. So I think they got some promotions going on over there. If you put ASAP in there at Bet Us, and give it a shot. And anywho, let's get the game started, shall we? Now we can go. All right, man. Hey, Logan, I don't know if you've seen it, man, but Blazers are they beat out the T-Wolves in the largest upset in 30 years. They beat them 107-105. They were 19.5 underdogs. The last team, I believe, was the Bulls or something like that, I believe in 2021 season, but they were 19-point underdogs. And then before that, you got to go back to 1993 for that one. And that one was at 21-point underdog. I forget the team specifically. But again, I mean, it's incredible that they took 19.5 points. The Blazers came out there. They didn't have Damon Dollar. Obviously, they shut him down because they were mathematically eliminated. Minnesota had Gobert, Towns, Edwards, the whole accoutrement of players they had. And yet they lost to the struggling Portland Trail Blazers. What do you make of that? Oh, before you go on, let me just give you a quick stat. Gobert was 10, 15, and 3. Towns was 8, 9, and 3 in the loss. Right now, the T-Wolves are in ninth spot. They give up everything and their mother to bring Gobert over here, and he can only give you 10 damn points. Is that what we are? And Towns is only giving you 8? What the hell is going on in Minnesota? Gonzo, man, what do you think about this craziness?
I think a lot of it in Minnesota has been their injury issue, especially with Towns. But you have everybody that game. You got to put out a better performance than what they did.
Yeah,
there's no excuse for that. But I think that's been a lot of their problem. Is not being able to build that chemistry. You bring Gobert over to pair him with Towns, and then both guys haven't been on the court. I don't think enough to actually for the whole team to get used to both of them being there. But I didn't like the move when they done it. They gave up way too much to get Gobert, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
But now they're going to be stuck with at least another year or two. I mean, you got to stick with at least one more season to see if they are healthy. If you can get chemistry going, I would believe. I don't think they're going to move. You gave up that much. I don't think you move on from Gobert already.
Yeah, absolutely. And Logan, to tack on to what Gonzo's saying, look, the T-Wolves have lost 11 out of their last 12 games. Okay, Portland rallied from 12 points down to take that win. I just don't, or excuse me, I apologize. It was 11 out of 12 for the Blazers. It was a third straight loss for the T-Wolves. I apologize. It was a third straight loss for the T-Wolves. But what I'm saying, Logan, is, what Gonzo's saying is true. I mean, Towns a little injured. But when you're playing a team, Logan, that's missing 4 of its starters, and one of the 4 is Damian Lillard, and you definitely got Gobert, this guy you gave all this stuff for. How in the hell is it possible that they can't pull out this win?
Jay, I think it's just kind of a statement on how the seasons went for the Timberwolves in general. I mean, I don't know if we all thought, but I think we all thought they'd be better than what they are right now. Currently, they have a 39-40 record at the number 9 seed out west. And I mean, if we look at Utah, because Chris brought up that trade, Utah is 36-42, still not mathematically eliminated, but probably about to be soon. That's only 3 wins better with Rudy Gobert, as opposed to Lauri Markkanen, who's had a really good year, by the way. He's done some really good things out there in Utah and a bunch of other guys. But yeah, 3 extra wins, and yeah, it's a mess right now, man. But that is a horrible loss. You have pretty much your whole team for Timberwolves, and then for the Blazers, didn't really have anyone. And they were still able to, like you said, not just get the win, but to come back and win. Just really, like you said, just Minnesota's had a rough patch lately. You mentioned the losses they've had as of late, and that is just the exclamation point on that.
Yeah, honestly, it really is. And then, speaking of struggling franchises, struggling people, all that nature, Logan never ceases to amaze me. You got a guy, the Angels, Anthony Rendon, literally missed all of the majority of last season, comes back this season. The damn season's barely started, and now this guy's facing a 4-game suspension for an altercation that he had with the fan. Like, what the hell? So apparently, let me just set the scenario up for you. After striking out twice in 3 at-bats, and obviously he went hitless, at the end of the game, he leaves the Angels dugout, heading towards the tunnel. Before he gets to the entrance there, he is confronted by a fan at the guardrail who basically is calling him the B word. And so then basically Anthony Rendon looks at the fan, grabs him by the shirt and says, "You just basically called me a bitch." I'm going to say, "You called me a bitch." And the fans basically like, "Yeah." And then Anthony takes a swing at him. He swings at him, doesn't connect. I think luckily for him, he doesn't connect, honestly. But he takes a swing at him and calls him a motherfucker. And then is basically dragged away and leaves the situation, goes back and gets down into the dugout and what have you. At what point, Gonzo, I don't get it, man. When you're making millions and millions and millions of dollars, you got to have a little bit of a tough skin. For the love of God, what would you do in New York? Them dudes get cursed out in New York. Why can't you just go to the tunnel, take your shower, get in your $1 million, whatever car, and go to your multi-million-dollar mansion and call it good?
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed in Rendon. If you're gonna take a swing, you don't miss. Damn it.
He did strike out. So at least he was being consistent at missing.
Yeah, if you're gonna grab the fan and take a swing at him, you're going to get fined and suspended. Don't miss. Make it count. Seriously, I agree with you, Jay. You got when you're in the spotlight, when you're a professional player, or not even a professional player. If you're you can even take this back to what's going on in women's college basketball as well. When you're in the spotlight, there's going to be things said about you that you have to ignore sometimes. I'm not saying it's always right. There's stuff people say they shouldn't say, but I mean, it's not worth losing everything you've earned and have over somebody saying something stupid to you.
I totally agree with you. Logan, at what point are these players going to learn? You can't listen to everything that the crowd is saying. They're always going to talk to you. You got to let that shit go.
Yeah, and I mean, that's kind of the golden rule, is you're not supposed to go after the fans. Even if he said some derogatory comments and whatnot, you don't swing at fans. That's just it's just how it is, Unfortunately, as much as I'm sure they would like to go out there and drop kick them and whatnot, they can't. You gotta just be the bigger person. And unfortunately for Anthony, he let his emotions get the best of him, and now he's going to be suspended for, what was it, 5 games, you said?
Yeah, well, I think it was 5 games initially, and then now the last report I saw, it turned out to be 4 games. Now he can appeal it and try to take it, and then they'll put the 4 games off until after the appeal process is over. But
I don't think he can appeal now, because I think the reason it got changed from 5 to 4 was he was going to appeal it, and so for him not to appeal it, they made an agreement of 4 games.
Shit, I would have let that. I would have taken a game off of his thing. I would have said, you can appeal it all you want, but you're on video taking a shot at a fan.
Yeah, it's just not a good look,
I mean, come on. Listen, I don't know about you, but that's called assault. That's
what I'm saying. Because I was joking. I was jokingly saying that don't miss, but the thing was, if he would have really hit the guy, then you got more problems, because now you got a court case, and this guy's going to take you to the ringer.
Yeah, and I think it looks bad on MLB to take a game away from it. If you say it's a 5-game suspension, which to me I think is light.
Whoa.
Well,
can't have that damn New York Yankee shit up
there. Hey,
I
didn't do that. That was you. That was all you.
I didn't do that. I don't know who.
I didn't put that on there. But no, look, if you're gonna baseball's got to stop being, and people in general got to stop being soft on this stuff. Look, put down the suspension, stick with it. If he wants to appeal it, it's the American way. Let him appeal it, and then it'll get crushed. But you got to stand firm with it, because otherwise you're setting a precedent of like, okay, well, you took a swing, we'll take a game off. No,
I understand what you're saying, Jay, but I think they done it because if he appeals, he could have kept. He was going to get to keep playing until the appeal process was over.
I mean, yeah. I mean, whether he
this way
4 games now or 4 games when it could be even more important if, God forbid, the Angels actually decide to do something this year. It's still going to have the same weight. Missing games is missing games. But I understand what you're saying too, Gons. I don't want to be argumentative about it, but I just feel like baseball. Look, you guys got to come down on this, man. But Logan, what do you think, man? I mean, am I out of pocket for thinking this way?
Nah, I mean, come on. It's 5 games. You know what I mean? He could have easily got popped for, I wouldn't go super harsh. You know what I mean? Maybe, what would you say was your punishment, BJ? How many games do you think he should
Man, miss? For me, the fact that the fact that Rendon initiated the contact. Look, he grabbed him by the shirt. Number one, that's assault. That's assault right off the rip.
And like you said, it wasn't like the fan grabbed at him first, correct?
Yeah. Look, the fan is behind a guardrail. A guardrail. That means Rendon specifically targeted him because he didn't like what was being said. So he not only did, he could have very easily just went down to the dugout and said, "Fuck that guy. I'm worth millions of dollars. That guy's probably worth 2,000."
Oh,
he could have done that, which is what he should have done. But he specifically went to him, reached through the guardrail, grabbed the guy, and then took a swing at him while he's cursing at him. That's a lot of intent. That's going above and beyond to do something to a fan. And I think baseball, if it was me, man, listen, hey, I don't give a damn. I'm not doing days. I'm doing months.
Months.
I'm doing months because that's aggravated assault. That's
what you say, Jay. You got a 50 game 75er,
bro. I'm at a minimum. I'm looking at 50 because you know what? When you incite violence on somebody, you got to put out a precedent. You got to say, look, nah, we ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? And 5 games what is 5 games? That's at a 162 game schedule. What is 5 games? That's nothing. That's a spit.
Yeah. 5 games is like maybe a week.
I want to know how much he got fined as well.
And that's the thing too. I'm glad you said that, Gonzo, because that was about what I was going to say too. If you're going to give the guy 5 games, if that's your punishment, then you need to have a stiff fine behind it to really put an impact on these people. When I say these people, I'm talking about players, baseball players. You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to give a short baseball suspension, then you need to put a hefty fine on it. What I'm saying is players need to understand that this is unacceptable behavior. I don't give a damn what that fan's do. Like I said, hey, Mr. Security Guard, you see that fan over there? He's over there cursing me out, man. Can we get that guy removed? There are things and measurements in place, tools in place to have somebody removed.
Yeah, but see, I don't think a fan should get removed just for cussing.
I'm not saying the man should be removed.
I know what you're saying.
All I'm saying is that before you, what I'm getting at, or the point I'm trying to make is before you go to violence, why not just have a security guy go over there, either A, talk to the fan, B, remove, whatever the case may be. There's things that my point is there's things you can do before you resort to violence.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that the fan has to be removed, but I'm just saying there's things that he could have done himself before he resorted to violence. And I think when you do that, you got to put down a fine. Because if he's a civilian out there, that's criminalistic behavior. That's cops.
I'm about to tell you, that's just like us walking up to someone on the street. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cops in a car going to jail, staying in jail till you can make your bond, and then going before the judge, because that's a felony. Mm-hmm. What Anthony Rendon did was a felony. Now, like Gonzo said, because he's so consistent in missing the things, the fact that he didn't connect probably kept him from going into cuffs. But truthfully, if that fan wanted to put charges on him from grabbing him, the fan he had the right to do that, and he could have been put into. I'm just saying, look, at the end of the day,
it could have been a lot worse than it is.
You know what I'm saying? And Rendon needs to be happy. Appeal my ass. Yeah. You need to be thankful that all you got was a 5-game suspension.
Well said.
But again, I think Major League Baseball and all the other leagues, they need to come down on players that are doing this kind of stuff, because there are measurements that if fans are out of control, that's what we got security at games for. Use security, what it's meant for. Secure. Get them out, neutralize the situation, and let's drive on.
I agree with you.
But anywho, that's just my little 2 cents on it. Frankie the Yankee, what is up?
What's going on, boys?
Man, we're just talking about your boy Anthony Rendon over there striking out twice and then striking out on trying to hit the fan that called him a bitch.
Hey, that's not my boys. I think it's funny, though. What a great way to start the season, right?
Hey, I'm just saying, we're talking about, 5-game suspension. He asked me what I thought it was worth. Hey, I told him, I was like, anytime you take a swing at somebody, it needs to be more than that, more than 5 games. But
I mean, I'll understand if he swung and it connected, but all he did was try to slap the guy, but the guy got out of there in time. So I understand the 5 suspension for attempting to slap the guy, but at least he didn't connect. If he would have connected, it would have definitely been longer.
I just think the fact that you swung at him, whether you connect or not, the fact that you swung on him, to me, that's just over the top. It's over the top. But it is neither here nor there.
To quote Jay, it is what it is. And man, That's just how it is.
Hey! Watch out when you're Well, you did give me the footnote, so I appreciate that.
There you go.
Hey, I got something for you. My hot take is Will Levis drops to number 19 and lands with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I'm going to tell you why. I think the top 3 quarterbacks to go is going to be Stroud to Carolina, Young to Houston, Anthony Richardson. Gonzo, I don't want to hear that, but Anthony Richardson's coming to town at Indianapolis. And I think Levis, because he had such a piss-poor interview, his attitude and demeanor were terrible to a lot of GMs that were commenting about it. I think that's what makes him slide down. That's one of the reasons. Bad interview is one of the reasons. Demeanor was another reason. Tampa does have a bridge quarterback in Mayfield, so I think that will allow Will Levis to basically develop or continue to develop on his mechanics. He is a strong, aggressive pocket passer, but he doesn't move extremely well in the pocket. He's 24 years old, which means he's already got age on him, right? I mean, he's got, 6 years of actual play before he hits 30? So I think his age, his attitude, his demeanor, his bad interview, and I also think his decision-making and accuracy are what's hurting him. So I think for all those reasons, I think he slides, and I think he lands at around number 19. Gonzo, what's your thoughts?
I don't think he'll slide that far, but Richardson's not coming to the Colts. Richardson's going to the Carolina Panthers at number 1 overall.
Hey, before you say something like that, Chris, you gotta tell me, Jay, hit the hot take.
I don't have a hot take button over here, damn it.
No, that's why you gotta say, Jay, I got a hot take, and then I hit the hot take button, and you say what you got.
Hey, you even got Anthony Price popping up saying something, Chris.
Look, I can't work with this unprofessionalistic attitudes. Y'all need to get y'all shit together.
So seriously, I do. I just think with all the hype that Richardson's getting, and Reich likes the bigger quarterbacks. He likes his quarterback 6'3", 6'4". He likes the bigger guys. I think Carolina's going to end up pulling the trigger and overdrafting Richardson at number 1. We've seen that happen.
You're not kidding about an overdraft.
We've seen that happen before.
Man, Frankie, could you imagine if Richardson actually did go number 1?
That would be probably the biggest shock in how many years?
Oh God!
In any draft?
I mean, let's be real. I honestly, I wouldn't be shocked at all. Really, this is a guy that went from being probably in the late like first round, top 15, to get drafted maybe even top 10, who went down to being in the top 5 because of just like his size and the skills that he can do running the ball and his protection. He went into the top 5, and I can honestly see him going number 1 overall, honestly.
So what's your thought process on Levis? Where do you see him actually landing in the draft? Or do you think that he goes to the Colts at number 4?
Realistically, I don't think he goes to the Colts. If you want my honesty, I think the Raiders pick him up. True talk. I think the Raiders pick him up because the Raiders have they're in the top 10. I think they got the 8th or 9th draft pick.
Yeah.
And I think, or they have the 8th because the Bears got 9 and the Eagles have 10. So yeah, I think he goes to number 8 to Vegas because Josh McDaniels has been linked to meeting with Levis, and they do need a second quarterback. They just got Brian Hoyer. They need somebody to back up Jimmy Garoppolo. Who knows how long he's going to last this season with his injury resume. So the best choice for the Raiders would try and pick up Levis, and that's if the Colts don't pick him up. And I don't think the Colts are going to pick him up. I still am going to ride to my thought and think that Richardson ends up going to the Colts, no matter what Chris's thoughts is, him going number 1. I mean, you could have that thought, and I can see that thought happening. But in my thought, I think he goes to number 4 to the Colts, which leaves Levis to going to the Raiders at number 8. Because who's out of the rest of the people, Arizona don't need a quarterback unless they really want to for 1 year and then just have him as a backup after that. I don't know who else is going to get him. Like the Commanders are probably not going to get him.
Well, who's the
Yeah.
Commanders' quarterback right now? Is it Sam Howell?
It's
Yeah,
Howell.
Sam Howell.
It's still
Oh
Howell.
my God,
They feel like Howell can do something, and that's a lot of confidence. And
that's a lot of confidence.
If I'm Sam Howell, man, I'm taking
Hey,
that.
is that confidence or is that foolishness?
I feel
Maybe
like
a
it's
little bit.
confidence.
Maybe it's a mix of both.
I mean,
Let me
if
ask
you
you
really
this.
think about it,
So, real quick, to your point, Frankie, Anthony also has Levis going to the Raiders. But let me ask you this, Logan.
What's up?
How do you feel? How do you feel about Hoyer coming to the
man.
Raiders? And let's be honest.
Hey,
Frankie put it out there in the chat, and he made a lot of sense that you guys are starting to look a lot like the Raiders. I mean, the Patriots. I apologize. The Patriots.
Hey, Jay. Look, man, the Las Vegas Patriots are going deep this year. All right.
Man,
Look, we got Jimmy Garoppolo.
They're not
we
with
got
they're not
Brian
going
Hoyer.
nowhere with Hoyer.
Let's not forget we got your boy Danny Amendola now, Frankie. He's on the
Yeah,
special teams.
yeah. Hey, you know what I heard
coach.
too? Listen, I heard through the grapevine that Josh McDaniels plans to go as Bill Belichick at Halloween.
Oh, okay.
That's what I've heard through the grapevine.
He got the hoodie ready. He's got the hoodie on, the clipboard, and that scowl.
what clipboard? Bill Belichick never has a clipboard.
You're right. My bad. But you said, Frankie, what's the chance Texans skip on Bryce Young, pick Will Anderson? That's the thing too. I think
Wow.
we are kind of not. Look, I understand there's a lot of quarterbacks in the draft, but let's not forget about Will Anderson now. Let's not forget about him.
Yeah, I agree, but I do think. Look, at the end of the day, man, I think they do take Bryce Young. But if they didn't take Bryce Young, they did take Will Anderson. I think that would be okay for them too, because honestly, they're probably going to finish, not too good next year. Honestly,
Well, I don't know, Jay. You say that, but look at the South in a way because.
Well, that's true.
That's
true.
Well,
I still got Jacksonville. Yeah, I still got Jacksonville taking that, and I think Tennessee still have a fight for the wild card. I still think Indy and Houston are going to be the odd guys out. I could be wrong, but I feel like they're the odd guy, and they really should be the odd guys.
But to be fair, though, Jay, that's a pretty big leap for Houston. Like you said, for the Texans to be, a top 3 pick this year, and then, like you said, maybe just missing out on a wild card. I mean, that that's good.
I really like that guy May out of North Carolina, and we all know what Caleb Williams is capable of doing. I think next year's draft class for quarterbacks is better than this year's draft.
Oh, you got Williams, you got Spencer Rattler, right? I think he'll be eligible. A couple others too, obviously. But
I mean, even if Houston bypasses the quarterback this year to wait for the next year's draft class, I think that's going to be perfect for them. Honestly, just continue to build other positional players.
They don't want a quarterback, though.
They can't, Jay. They really can't. And I've been saying this a lot this offseason. Houston has been building up to be a team slowly and quietly. Nobody's even looking at what they're doing. These guys are literally building up to where I feel like they're going to fit Bryce Young in that category. I understand where he's coming from with Will Anderson, but nobody's going to pass on a quarterback who played under the great mind of Nick Saban. Yes, he didn't have a good year with Alabama and stuff like that. Plus, he had an injury. Let's not forget that. But you got a guy that's just coming off of a game or a season, even longer than that, with the mind of Nick Saban. You don't ever pass that on.
Who
let me
has
ask you
already
this.
had coaching experience, and it's probably people might say the best or one of the best college football coaches ever.
Hey, since you're talking about Will Saban, we're talking about Alabama quarterbacks.
Okay,
Frankie, man, I know you've talked about it. We've certainly seen the tweets and the Adam Schefters of the world's talking about it. I mean, now you guys were so hyped up on Mac Jones, but now Bill's trying to shop him.
Yeah, I really don't know what Bill's thinking. I wouldn't shop, honestly. What, honey? Okay, hold on. I wouldn't honestly shop Mac Jones realistically, because you're looking at last year, and the only reason why Bill Belichick is doing it is because this is a guy who seeked outside counsel from the Patriots organization. That's the only reason why Bill Belichick is doing that, and it's kind of like a punishment. But Robert Kraft went out and said he's 100% behind Mac Jones. He don't blame last year on him. It was honestly coaching. And Jay, you know it because you've been busting my balls about it all season last year.
Mhm.
And it's true. It really
Yep.
is true because when he had Josh McDaniels, this is a guy who went 10-6 and went to the playoffs his very first year. Mind you, he got beat up, but the man had to play the Buffalo Bills when they were really on fire in the wild card round. I feel like if he would have played someone else, like maybe the Browns or the not the Bengals would have done damage on us too. But like some other wild card team or anything like that, I feel like we would have probably had a better chance. But it was just so happened he had to face the Bills. Other than that, I feel like Mac Jones is honestly he's going to be great. I think he's going to be good, and they said something about this to me earlier. It was Mike Hughes and Tony, where they said, "What would I rather take?" Because there was potential talks with several teams. I believe it was the Commanders, the Texans, the Raiders. Which, by the way, of course, the Raiders want to be in that conversation, right?
You're
Las
not
Vegas
kidding.
Patriots.
You're not
And
kidding.
I forgot the other team. I think it was the Falcons or something. I forgot the last team. But if I heard, they told me if I was Bill Belichick or whatever, go ahead and try to trade him to Texans to try and get the number 2 draft pick. For one, the Texans will not give up the number 2 draft pick just for Mac Jones. They're going to have to give more than that for the number 2. And realistically, what would you rather do? Would you rather go with a third-year quarterback who's have an offensive coordinator this year who played good with an offensive coordinator, not a defensive coordinator running offensive plays, with an offensive coordinator, or would you rather start over again and go with a rookie with number 2, kind of like Bryce Young or CJ Stroud or anybody else? I told them I will stick with Mac Jones. Why do that? The man played good under an offensive coordinator, and Bill Belichick needs to get his head out of his ass and just be like, listen, let's see what you can do. Now, if he has a bad third year, I will start maybe, I'm on the Mac Jones train. I'm basically opening the doors and having my body halfway out to get ready to jump out. That's if he has a bad third year. But other than that, I feel like he's going to be good this year. Bill Belichick needs to relax. If the man wanted to seek outside counsel, then that's good. That's basically, I want to see who else sees differently. If nobody in the Patriots organization is helping me, well, let me go ahead and speak to somebody else. As like basically saying they can't talk to a friend outside the Patriots roster.
And let's be honest, the last thing Bill needs to do right now is trade Mac Jones. You just brought in Bill O'Brien, his former offensive coordinator from Bama, one that he has a relationship with, one that they know each other well. Why would you want to destroy that?
It
Because
doesn't
Bill
make
Belichick likes to
sense.
punish people. He truly, honestly likes to punish people.
Yeah, but the only thing he's punishing is himself, the team.
Exactly. And that's why I feel like he done this before. Let's not forget. He did this to oh my God, what's this guy's name? He did it in Super Bowl 52.
Oh yeah, that was that. I think it was a linebacker that he did.
Oh, you're right. I forget his name.
It was a
our
cornerback.
Super Bowl.
Or cornerback.
Super
Yeah, I
Bowl
think it was
hero.
cornerback.
Malcolm Butler.
Yeah, there you go. I remember when he did
Malcolm
that.
Butler in Super Bowl 52, and he didn't play the entire Super Bowl. And I feel like that's what cost us the Super Bowl. We could have honestly three-peated that straight 3 years. But because of Bill Belichick being so freaking naive and being so freaking petty, he wants to go ahead and punish people. And he punishes people just to punish himself, just like Jay said.
Man, sometimes geniuses need to be held in check sometimes because their geniusness, just overrides, other things.
Sometimes they just get in their own way, Jay.
Man, hey, listen, you know what I'm saying? Cut off your nose to spite your face. I mean, what a time to be alive, man. Let's get into this show, man. NCAA championship, baby. Holy cow. San Diego State clearly got a dose of reality when it comes to UConn, who obviously was heavily favored anyway. Like I said, if you look at what UConn did coming into this game, their lowest margin of victory was 13 points. Their highest one was 28, 23, 15, 24. That was their victory differences. When you look at San Diego State, they played FAU, Creighton, Alabama, Furman, and then I don't even know who the hell COFC is. But long story short, their biggest victory was 23 points against Furman. FAU and Creighton were 1-point victories, and we all know FAU was a buzzer beater. And then Alabama was a 7-pointer. I just think that like we always talk about Sadongo or Sadongo, however you say that guy's name. Was obviously one of the biggest factors in UConn. Adama Sanogo, the forward from UConn. I mean, this guy was crazy, man. 17 points on 60% at the field and 75% at the free throw line. 7.6 rebounds. I mean, you knew it was crazy coming into it, man. But what do you guys think, Logan?
Yeah, like you said, man, UConn just kind of showed that they were the better team, head and shoulders above really everyone they faced in the tournament. And like Anthony Price said, let's be real, no one really had UConn getting this far. I mean, no one really had San Diego State getting that far, or FAU, or even Miami. But I mean, that's the beauty of March, and shout out to the Huskies for getting a dominant win, honestly, against the Aztecs. I mean, they were just shooting the lights out, playing good defense, and another dominant win for them. And they are your 2023 champs.
Absolutely. Frankie, man, geez, San Diego State just not even really had a chance. Their bench was held to 0 points all the way up until at the 14:55 mark of the second quarter, the second half. So, they just had no answer for them, man. Their defense, everything was just out of sync. I think they went 8 of 28, something like that, in the first half. I mean, they just could not shoot the ball, and they were getting defense. But what did you think of the game?
Yeah, I only watched the second half. I really wasn't much on the first half. I was really pretty much watching Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania. But the second half I was watching, and what got to me on the second half was it's really sad what happened to San Diego State. They were down by double digits, and they came back, honestly, to be down by 6 points. So they had a moment where they were trying to come back, and it was a really good moment as well. And I thought we were going to have that moment where, oh my God, they came back to tie it, or they're down by like 1 or 2 or something like that, something inspiring, right? And then UConn literally just take a timeout, got our heads out of our asses, and just dominated again. Literally just dominated again, and it's a really sad story for San Diego State. I understand what they did was magical, and it could have been a storytelling ending. But it came down to facing a really tough defense in UConn, and UConn was in it to win it from the very start. From the very start, this is a team that literally changed their defensive schemes to just dominate the entire March Madness. So congratulations to UConn on becoming national champions for the 5th time with your third different coach. I'm just glad that it wasn't Houston or Texas that won it.
Man, the saltiness is real. Gonzo, San Diego State. Wow, what a performance, but just could not get over the hump to take the lead in that second half, man. What did you think about San Diego State UConn?
It went about how I thought it was going to go, just because UConn's defense, what they've done throughout the tournament. Their 5 games in the tournament, they've held their opponent to under 32% shooting. When you can do that, you're going to win a lot of games. I think what happened with UConn was, they started the season off 14-0, got up to the number 2 ranking, and then they started conference play and just was terrible. Lost 8 of their 9 first 9 conference games, and then toward the end of the season they went on another run like they did at the beginning of the season and got hot at the right time. I think we as a fan base and as media and everything kind of overlooked them because of that lull they went in the middle of the season. So everybody kind of wrote them off as, oh, they're not going to do anything in the tournament, but they turned it on at the right time. And I told you early in the tournament about how impressed I was with that Sadogo. What he can do on both ends. Not only can he score, but he's great on the defensive end with blocks and rebounds. But yeah, he is. It was a great tournament. I know a lot of people were down on the Final Four because you didn't have none of the Blue Bloods, but they still had. I just heard the ratings earlier. 15 million people watched last night.
That's incredible. That's crazy. That's crazy.
I heard there was like 60,000 or something there in attendance. So I mean, the game, even though it wasn't the bigger name schools, people still showed up for it, and people were still watching it. So I think that's good for college basketball.
Oh, absolutely.
And also too, Chris, the women's set records pretty much the entire tournament.
Yeah, they had almost 10 million people watch their championship game Sunday.
which is insane.
And I think what was really good was a lot of people, especially me, really didn't know a whole lot about FAU, the Owls. And I think that this Final Four appearance with them really put them, on the map. And now people are tracking a school like FAU. We're tracking schools like San Diego State, whereas, we always normally see the bigger schools in this, or, the Gonzagas and things like that, so.
And I think you're going to see more of this in March Madness in the future because of the transfer portal.
Absolutely, and the NIL.
In the NIL, I think you're going to see more of these mid-major and smaller schools that we don't consider powerhouses. You're going to see more of them have tournament runs because you can rebuild a team quick now because of with that transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the NIL and the transfer portal really, really is. It's slowly, but it's definitely changing the landscape of football and basketball. And I think as we go further and further down the line, 10 years from now, I think college football and college basketball is going to look completely different.
I do think they need to make some. I do think they need to make some rules on the transfer portal, though. Like how many times?
It's pretty crazy the way.
There should be rules on how many times you can transfer.
Oh yeah. Well, look, hey, when Deion left Jackson State, he basically brought an entire program of people from all over the place with him. He just showed up and people are just coming to the portal right and left.
And use that for example. I'm fine with that. But then if they transferred from there to Colorado, they shouldn't be. That should be it. You shouldn't be able to transfer again.
Oh no, I agree. And I think they're allowed to do that. But if they tried to transfer a second time, then they would have to miss out on a certain number of games. Like they're going to get penalized for that. So they can still transfer, but they're going to have to forfeit a number of games before they can actually play for that new team. So but yeah, I agree. I think there needs to be more. And I think with the NIL too, man, the NIL, they need to definitely put some caps on it to where it doesn't get too crazy or too out of hand. But at the same time, these players do need to be rewarded for their images and likenesses, and because on the flip side of that, these universities are, let's be honest, they're making a crap ton of money, off these athletes, much more than the scholarships that they're being given, right? So it is what it is. Let's get on to the next topic real quick. LSU. Since we are talking college, we'll go ahead and talk about the women now. Caitlin Clark, Jesus Louise, man, dominated headlines. Entering the 2023 tournament. We all know that, man. Those back-to-back 40-point games entering that was just unheard of. But LSU did come away with the win at 102-85 for LSU. And that was their first tournament win or national championship in Dallas American Airlines Arena. So congrats to LSU. I'm not an LSU fan, but I will congratulate a good, well-fought team. And they did well, man. I think but I will tell you this, like I said earlier, man, I felt like they called way too many ticky-tack fouls, Logan, in this game, man. 37 total fouls, I think, in 40 minutes. And it was on both sides of the court. And I felt like, if you're going to call the big fouls or you're going to be consistent, call the big fouls, that's fine. But the ticky-tack, they could have given them a little bit of leeway, because I think we would have seen a little bit different game. I think Caitlin Clark, who was in foul trouble the majority of the game, I think, she wasn't able really to get into her rhythm. She wasn't able to get to what she does because of the fouls. And I think that kind of took away from it a little bit. But again, I don't want to, make excuses for their loss either. LSU did a great job. And I thought Caitlin Clark, I thought she handled everything that, surrounded Angel Reese. I thought she did a really good job of keeping her composure, doing the right things. Then again, even she said, look, that's an incredible athlete. We're all out here to compete. She's trash talking. Okay, let her trash talk. Don't criticize her for it. Let her trash talk. So I like the fact that Caitlin, is standing up, doing the right things, and not, going the opposite direction of it. So again, congratulations to LSU and congratulations to a really good performance from Caitlin Clark over the course of the championship. And I just love the way both of these women are handling a very controversial situation. But you know what they say, Gonzo, bad publicity is still good publicity. And it is, like you said, Gonzo, and I know everybody's pretty much said it, where, women's sports are getting recognized a lot more than what they have been. But anywho, Gonzo, what was your thoughts, man?
The game went about how I figured. LSU was the better team. It was basically LSU against Courtney Clark. I mean, Courtney, she was Iowa.
Yeah.
Honestly, how many other players on that team can anybody in the country name?
Oh, absolutely. No, you're right. I'll be honest with you.
Because I was surprised Iowa made it because I didn't think they'd get by South Carolina. They pulled off that big upset. I think LSU was the better complete team. Only thing I really didn't care for. I don't have a problem with the trash talk. Trash talk all you want, but to me that wasn't trash talk. Trash talk goes on during a game. This is basically after the game's over, so that's more of a taunting. But I don't have a big deal with it because Courtney Clark, she didn't have a big deal with it. She didn't make a big deal out of it, so why should anybody else care? If anybody was going to be upset, she would have been the one to be upset, not all of us watching on TV. But like I said earlier, it sucks that that's what everybody's talking about in a way instead of LSU winning the national championship. But women's basketball has got talked more about in the last 2 or 3 days because of this than it has in the last 20 years.
Oh yeah, no, you're definitely right about that, man. And like I said, you said that they held her in check, but she still got 30 points, I think, which is an off night for her.
Oh, she's the best. She might be the best player, men or women.
And the crazy thing is, Chris, is she still can't get drafted yet. I think she's a sophomore, right?
I think so.
Wow.
She scored 191 points in the damn NCAA tournament. She's almost
That's
scored 200
insane.
points in that tournament by herself. I mean,
That's insane. That's insane. So she will be out this draft, but she'll be out next draft.
I wish she was out this year. I wish she was out this year because the Fever have the number 1 pick.
let me see. Hold on. Yeah,
I'm gonna say right now, God, whoever drafts her, oh Lord.
Yeah, she's gotta go. She's gotta finish out her senior year, which is gonna be this next year. And then she'll be good to go.
Oh, so in women that you have to play all 4 years?
I think so, which is kind of weird, which I never knew.
I didn't know that either.
That's kind of weird.
I'd love for her to be in the draft this year because, like I said, the Indiana Fever have the number 1 overall.
Oh, I know you'd love that.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I'm actually googling that.
All 4 years. I wonder why they got.
I'm looking that up now because I'm curious.
Oh yeah, because you would think they'd have changed that rule by now.
You're right. All right, what's up next, Jay?
Yeah, Logan, you got to find that out. Now I'm waking. I'm definitely want to know. Real quick before we get on, I do want to point out something amazing about what Reese did. We know we kind of talked a lot about Clayton Clark, but I do want to point out that Reese had 15 points, 10 rebounds, was an NCAA record-setting 34th double-double this season. So, hey, listen, Reese scored, rebounded, defensed, playmate. Again, we talked a lot about, everything that Caitlin Clark has done. But, man, Reese, in her own right, just incredible. And I will tell you that even though, she got 30 points, and I think she got 8 assists, I believe, her shooting field goal percentage wasn't the best. She went 9 of 22, and she did have 6 turnovers. So, hey, everybody has a bad game. But again, like you said, Logan, the other guys on her team really didn't give her enough scoring help. When you look at LSU, they had 3 players that had 20-plus points. And on her side, you had, Caitlin Clark had 30, but everybody else was around the 10 to 15 point range and less. So, it was really a lack of scoring on their side.
Go ahead, Chris.
What's up, Billy?
Robert De Niro said, "I love women." We got to say in the building.
Hey, Robert De Niro, we love that too, baby.
Oh, the women. Oh, go ahead, Logan. My bad.
Oh no, you give me. Go ahead.
There you go. Hey, there you go. Though Billy Buzz says women got to be at least 22 years. And
that's what I was going to say. Damn it! Come on.
Well, and since it's brought up, I did find an article because LeBron James questioned it, right? So this came out a couple days ago. Basically, in it, it says in the WNBA rule book that they got to go through 4 years of college, pretty much. They have to be at least 22 years old during the year in which the draft takes place. And so I was reading here, and this is coming from Erica Ayala from the New York Times. Quote, she said, each season, players are caught in a revolving door of contracts for 144 WNBA spots. Many people inside and outside the league believe now is the time to expand team rosters or teams in the league or both. With only 12 teams and 12 roster spots on each team, the WNBA is harder to get into and stay in than the NBA, especially with most players' contracts not being guaranteed. Relatively low salaries also push players to make tough choices about when and where to play. And also, that's something we haven't thought about, is that it is a very selective group to be in the WNBA. So if you just have all these people coming out their freshman years, I mean, there's going to be a lot of people who just come out of college and might not even get picked. So I guess that's why.
You want to hear something that's scary is the fact that LSU has the majority of their team coming back next season.
Oh, that is dangerous.
So that means, in theory, if they continue to compete the way they're competing, LSU could be a back-to-back champion in that title. So just keep that in mind.
I mean, also, Jay, why do you think UConn had just a stranglehold on the women's college basketball scene for a decade? You know what I mean? I mean,
you know what I want? Hey, Logan, I don't know about you, man, but I would love, and I don't know if Reese is a senior or not, but God, I hope she's not. I would love to see a part 2 to this, Iowa versus LSU next year. You know,
you're not getting. Let me see, Angel Reese.
You can't count out.
She's only 20, so we're good, Jay.
You can't count out South Carolina either.
No, I mean, they had a really good program too.
I mean, they've lost one game in 2 years,
40 weeks or something.
They've lost one game in 2 years.
That is wild.
You know, and again, one other thing I wanted to kind of point out was, again, man, it's a competitive nature, and people got to stop getting antsy or pissed off because, somebody does what, or mocks or whatever look, that's just competition. Hell, Kobe, Shaq, if you look at the NBA, that's all they do is mock each other. So why are we getting pissed off about, or why are people getting upset or making a big deal about Reese doing that to her when hell the whole NBA does that stuff? So people need to stop being so touchy-feely about their feelings and just move on with it. It's good competition. God, what time to be alive. Let's talk about this WWE, baby. Logan, it's incredible. Think about this for a minute. And I didn't think about this. So WWE got bought, or their 51% that Endeavor acquired was $9 billion. Could you imagine how much it would be if they added the other 49% to that?
Yeah. And I think, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Vince McMahon bought WWE from his father all those years ago for what? Maybe $1 million? Maybe $10 million?
$1 million back in 1982.
$1 million back in 82, Jay. And what, 40 some odd years later, give or take?
Yeah.
Now it's for $9 billion.
That's incredible,
which
man.
Financially phenomenal, which we know he's obviously a cutthroat businessman. We all know. But yeah, it kind of has been rumored for a while now that they were going to get bought or sold somewhere. We didn't know where. And it's kind of came out of nowhere, honestly. It came right after WrestleMania, like hours after, pretty much the next morning I woke up to see it. And we'll see, we'll see how these two companies kind of interact now. Obviously we've seen crossovers with Ronda Rousey coming to WWE, and we've seen, a bunch of wrestlers at the UFC events. But we've also
seen Lesnar crossover.
Of course, Lesnar, CM Punk also, a couple, I'm sure others.
Don't count CM Punk.
Yeah, but I'm curious to see, because I think this is really good. The thing is, Chris, I think this is good for UFC because WWE knows how to market their wrestlers, superstars. Whatever.
Yeah, they really do.
They're great at marketing, and for UFC,
much better than AEW, that's for sure.
And the thing about the UFC is, unless you're like a big name star, like your McGregors of the world and whatnot, it's kind of hard to get up that top spot, Yeah,
it's interesting though. Endeavor as a whole, now their sports side, the sports side of Endeavor Group as a whole is worth $21.4 billion,
which is
$21.4 billion. So to break that down, I believe. This all occurred during WrestleMania 39, right?
Mhm.
So UFC, obviously Endeavor owned or was the parent company of UFC. Then they brought in WWE, and now that gives them 21.4 billion worth of net worth. And I got to be honest, and just so we're tracking, Ari Emanuel is going to be the CEO of WWE as well as Endeavor. And then Vince McMahon will be the executive chairman. And then Nick Khan will be the president of wrestling business. So that's how that's how that's going to look. So now I think you're going to see Vince and Dana are going to be in much closer contact. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some back and forth between the two organizations.
Honestly, I think out of all the people that were you had rumored about buying WWE, I think Endeavor is the best option, especially for us wrestling fans. Because one thing about Endeavor, with me being a big UFC fan, when they just bought UFC a few years ago.
Yeah.
And when they bought UFC, they didn't come in and just try to make all kinds of changes and just overhaul everything because they owned it. They kept Dana White in place and stuff. And I think we'll see a lot of that with WWE. I don't think there's going to be as many changes as a lot of people think there will be. I agree with Logan. I do think that this will help the UFC as well because there's nobody better in the world at putting on big events than the WWE.
Billy brings a good point. He said back in the day wasn't.
They were going to kill him.
Oh yeah, no, they hated
Billy,
they hated this dude.
There was promoters in the territories that they had talks about killing Vince. Yeah, they wanted.
It got crazy.
They were just going to kill him and get rid of him.
I'm about to say,
are you telling me they tried to Jimmy Hoffa Vince?
Hey man, and hey, also Chris,
some concrete in one of these stadiums somewhere.
Hey Chris, I haven't talked to you about it, but what do you think about Vince McMahon's new mustache? It looks horrifying.
Oh wow,
Jay, have you seen this photo by the way?
Yeah, I saw all of them in the group chat. I laughed at every damn one of them too, man.
I think he's going to try to become an '80s porn star.
Hey, watch this, Logan. You ready for this? You ready for this, Logan?
Uh-huh.
I'm about to hold on. Before I go that direction, let me hold on.
See, now you got me worried.
We're about to see. This is a hot take for a specific reason. I'm putting Gonzo in the hot seat.
Oh,
hey, look, this guy is all about wrestling. You ask Gonzo.
Are we grilling Chris?
Hey, listen, he's like a walking wrestling encyclopedia. Between him and his dad, I swear to God, they can tell you everything you want to know about wrestling at any given time, at any given moment. But let's see if he knows this. And Chris, look straight at the camera. Because I don't want hold on. I got you. Hold on. All right.
Hey, like you said, Jay also knows
now listen now, Chris. Listen. You only get 8 seconds, Chris.
8 seconds.
It's all you get. You get 8 seconds to give me
I'm
the answer.
I'm worried about this because who knows where Jay's going with this.
Hold on. Chris, you get 8 seconds. That's all you get. That's it. Is your dad there? Is Tony over there?
He's not. He's in the.
Yeah,
he's here.
Right, it's just solo.
Hey, just tell Tony I need 8 seconds of his life. Tell Tony to come over here. We got time. Hurry up.
God.
Hurry up. Let's go. Time now. Move. I want everybody here.
I'm half crippled. You got to give me a second.
Here, put it back on full screen. Put it back on with us, Jay. We'll converse.
We'll converse. Hey, because it's a pretty specific question. Hold on, let me see how I get out of this thing.
Change the screen. There we go.
Hey, listen, I want everybody all hands on deck because this is pretty. But no, Logan. Hey, but while we're waiting on Chris, man, let me ask you a question. Do you know? No. I'm not, that's 2 questions. I'm asking. No, I don't. Okay, don't say it if you don't know it, Logan. Don't say it. Oh, Chris is back. Okay, hold on.
We're trying to get a little sneak preview in here, but
let me pull this in. Okay,
here we go. We got Chris and Tony.
All right. The first question. Actually, I'm putting both of you in the hot seat. The first question is for Tony. Tony, you got 8 seconds. You got 8 seconds. I don't want to see no Googling. I don't want to see. Look, hold on.
Hey, you don't have to worry. You don't know how to use Google.
Oh, that's true. But I'm giving you the rules. I want the rules stated right up front. You cannot use any material or references to answer this question. I want you to look at the camera. Chris, look at the camera. Look at the camera. I want you to tell me when. Now, Gonzo, this is for you. This is for your dad. Tony, I want you to tell me, when did Vince's father found WWE?
And go.
What year? Come on, Chris. You don't know this.
Oh,
Tony, you don't know
can't
this.
even hear him, by the way.
Oh, my bad. Now you can.
I said 1952, but I really don't know.
That was
What
close.
year is it founded?
You were close. No, you were close. Gonzo, I'm gonna give you one chance at it. What year? Your dad was close. What year you think?
I'm gonna say 55.
Y'all suck. Y'all call yourselves Gonzo's right. 1953.
Hey,
19.
Close. Y'all
Tony
right.
Tony was close. Tony was close. All right. Gonzo, you got one last chance to redeem
Yeah,
yourself.
redeem your wrestling.
And Chris, if Chris can answer it, then we're gonna. Hey, if Chris can answer it, we're gonna flip it over to Tony and see if Tony can answer it. So, Chris, what year was the first WrestleMania?
Oh shit.
WrestleMania 1. Well,
83.
3 more seconds, huh?
so Chris said
83?
83. Let's wait and see what Tony
No,
says.
you said what year?
83.
Close. No.
All right.
Tony
What
for the
year?
win.
I believe it was 85.
Bingo! Good job, Tony. You're still in the game. There's still a little bit of credibility to the Gonzo wrestling room. Good job, Tony. Good job. You held up.
Hey,
You held.
Billy even chimed in a little late and said 85. He said after we said it. Billy heard it.
Jay
Typed it in there.
had to look up.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Hey, listen, man. Hey, if you're not listen, we can look. These are the experts. I just bring questions to the
I
table.
bet
Gonzo, you were terrible. You were 0 for 2. Tony, you were pretty good.
Yeah,
Tony was 1 for 2. Gonzo was.
Well, one question you asked me, I wasn't even born. The other question you asked me, I was been 4 years old.
Hey. See, now, here's the problem with that, though, Gonzo. That's what they got YouTube for. They got YouTube
Man,
for
there
that.
you go.
You know that?
That's a YouTube that, man.
God.
Oh, what we got
Anyway,
next?
hey,
What we got next,
good try. Tony, I'm proud of you. You're 1 for 2. Gonzo, you shit the bed. You're 0 for 2. You were terrible.
Hey, we might come up with another round on Thursday, Chris. So you might want to be watching some footage in between then now.
Man, listen, you never know what you're going to come on. And next time I expect y'all to be a little bit more prepared. Now, you can tell me about the Great Muta, but you can't tell me the year of WrestleMania #1. That's okay.
I found out 10 seconds before I was going to get asked a question, but I must be more prepared.
Hey, listen, that's what we do, man. We're
to study.
Hey, listen, we're not going to get into this topic tonight. I'm going to save this one for tomorrow, but this will be a teaser for Thursday's show. I want everybody to think, what draft prospect should not be drafted in the first round? That's for next week. No answers, please. Just something to contemplate on. Final thoughts. We're going to get out the door. Gonzo, final thoughts, baby.
Hold on. Let me scoot back over here. My final thoughts was I was close. I was trying to figure out in my head. So my first memory of watching wrestling is watching Hulk Hogan slam Andre the Giant at WrestleMania
3.
Yeah, WrestleMania 3. So I was trying to do it in my head. What year? When was that? I was
To be fair, he was close. He's only off by 2 years.
But my final thoughts. Join me this Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, live YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, DCCW Invasion 4, featuring Olympic gold medalist, WWE Hall of Famer Kurt Angle, also WWE Hall of Famer Rikishi is going to be in the house, and Buff Bagwell, plus all the DCCW superstars. So join us Saturday night for that at 7. And then Easter Sunday, after you get out of church, join us at 4 p.m. Eastern for some more live pro wrestling, as we'll be live at Summit Pro Wrestling in Greenfield, Indiana. So we're going to have 2 big wrestling shows this weekend. Come join us. Please hit that follow button on or like and follow on Facebook at Gonzo Sports Room. I'm 1 follower away from hitting 1,000. So let's get it up to 1,000.
Someone give it to him tonight.
And then please hit that subscribe button on YouTube as well. We're getting closer and closer to being able to monetize. So we appreciate everybody's support. And also,
hell yeah,
make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube for Unscripted as well.
Yes, please make sure you get Gonzo Sports Room some love. He is very, very close. Billy, I was just about to answer that question for you. It was. You're right. 1991, and the only reason I know it was 1991 is that's the year I graduated high school and went into college. So yeah, that was.
Oh, I got one more final thought.
Yeah,
Reds,
go ahead.
Reds are beating the Cubs right now.
Hey, you might go to 4-0. Hey, you might have some serious bragging rights on Mike Hughes. What a time to be alive. Billy also goes on to say 1985 in terms of first WrestleMania. Yeah. He says my money's on Tony.
I'll be honest with you. I was surprised Dad didn't know about Vince McMahon Sr. because Dad knows almost everything about wrestling.
Yeah. That's why I wanted your dad to do it because I really wanted to see, how, if he knew all that craziness. But all right, man. Hey, listen, real quick, Logan, man. I get you, Logan. What's your final thoughts, brother?
Hey, like I said, good show tonight. All in all, basketball season's wrapping up in the NBA here pretty soon. Gotta get some more MVP talks in here, Jay. Maybe Thursday, we'll see. But yeah, man, everything's coming down to the wire. It's fun. Baseball's back and going. Chris's Reds are looking good right now. Which hey, we're all for it. We always mock you, Chris, but right now you're looking solid.
Get this. They said earlier it was 7 weeks into the season last year before the Reds won 4 games.
That is insane.
We have a chance.
I forgot you went on that 0-20.
Yeah, we started out for 2 for 23 last season. So we have a chance if we can hold on tonight to get 4
doubling
wins in the first week.
Hey, I wonder if when they're at the dinner table, Tony looks over there at Gonzo. Gonzo looks at Tony, and they're like, "Dad, do you think this is the year?
Is this the year?
Is this the year, Dad? Should I get my hopes up, or should I wait till the All-Star break?"
But no, that's all I got. Like I said, like you see it on the screen there. Follow us TikTok, Twitter, also YouTube, Facebook, our primary hubs. We put on some good work, and like I said, Jay, we are 328 episodes down now.
God, it's so crazy. It's 328, man. I mean, honestly,
close to a full year.
Oh man, it's insane. I do want to say thank you very much, Billy, Anthony, Robert De Niro. By the way, I like that name, Robert De Niro. Man, not as good as Jay McLovin, but hey, not everything is. But no, seriously, man, Anthony, Robert, and Billy, man, much love, much love. Thank you for commenting. Thanks for hanging out with us. And Gonzo, man, I love you, man. Appreciate you for hanging out. Tell your dad I love him. And always a good time being able to talk anything with your pops, to be honest with you. And Logan, man, brother, what a time to be alive. What a time to be alive, man. Yeah, check us out. We'll be back on Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern time to talk more sports with you. And if you haven't already, make sure you download that ASAP Network app. Again, it's on Apple, Google Play, Roku, Amazon, and make sure you stay up in all of our content as well, man. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. We'll see you Thursday. We out.